Dear Father Simon and the gathered forgivage, which is a new word to me, Graham. I quite like the forgivage, the gathered forgivage. Like that?
I don't think it works.
A great moral weight, says Graham, has lain upon my chest since the summer of 1989, when I was the manager of a DIY store in the north of England. Please hear my sin. Every morning, my assistant manager, Ryan, and I would arrive at the store slightly early to wake up the computers and ready ourselves for the day ahead. Once our daily routine was well underway, we would take the opportunity to sit down for a quick coffee before the chaos of the day set in. The office where this brief respite took place was on an upper floor of the building and had a window that overlooked the staff car park. This was particularly useful as we could witness the arrival of the rest of the store staff as we relaxed. Almost without exception, Karen, one of the section managers, was the first to arrive. Day after day, week after week, we watched as she coaxed her small red Reliant Robin into a space to our right. But, oddly, she only ever fully came to a complete stop when she had bumped the front wheel up against the small curb that bordered the car park. We watched this process unquestionably for many weeks. Each day the same manoeuvre took place, sharp turn into the space, little burst of acceleration, and the little car would surge forwards, stopping only when it came into contact with the solid stone curb. One dark morning, while nursing his steaming cup of coffee and watching the familiar routine of Karen's arrival, Ryan thoughtfully said, "I wonder what would happen if someone moved that curb." We both stopped what we were doing. Our eyes met and nothing more needed to be said. A smile crossed both our lips as the plan was hatched. Within 15 minutes of close of business that night, we had hauled out the solid stone curb in front of Karen's space and replaced it with a strip of grey polystyrene, which we had selected from the warehouse. We then headed home, eagerly awaiting the results of our work the next day. Next morning, Ryan and I arrived as normal. We fired up the computers as quickly as we could, got ourselves a coffee, and positioned ourselves expectantly at the office window. Sure enough, bang on time, Karen appeared on the horizon. The little red Reliant Robin glinted in the morning sun as it glided gracefully across the car park towards her usual spot. She made her well-rehearsed turn and added the final burst of acceleration just as she reached the space. The little car obediently jumped forward towards the expected but absent curb. Father Simon, I fear I require forgiveness from several parties here. Firstly, and obviously, from Karen herself, who was waiting for the curbside bump that didn't come, and proceeded to direct her Reliant Robin, which frankly had more power than we'd given it credit for, off the edge of the car park, down the grassy verge, through a fence at the edge of the grounds, and directly into the river that ran alongside the store. Secondly, I feel I should spare a thought for the AA man who had to call another AA man because the first van he brought in wasn't big enough to pull the Reliant back up the hill and out of the river. Thirdly, most importantly, I must seek absolution from the horrified fisherman who was just sitting on his basket that quiet summer morning, minding his own business. He ran like I have never seen a man run before, as he mercifully spotted the Reliant heading down the verge towards him at some speed, eventually ploughing straight through his equipment and basket on its way to its watery resting place. Can you possibly find it in your hearts to absolve me and Ryan of our sin? It's from Graham. P.S. We never did find the fisherman's basket. Okay, so I love that. Perfectly written, Graham. Nicely done, nicely told. Here comes Brother Matt first.
What makes that genius is the fact that you don't reveal that she was parking next to a river until the end. And I was, to be honest, I was all for saying, well, forgive him, because frankly, she should learn how to drive without needing a curb to stop her car when she's parking. But it's next to a river.
Yes.
Are you mad? You knew that was going to happen. She was going to go over the curb and then down the verge and into the river. No, you're not forgiven.
That red Robin just went a bobbing along. Mother Superior.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, if you're going to do this kind of a prank, you've got to think it through. Think of the consequences.
Well, just notice the river.
Yeah, just know that there's a river there. And actually, it could have been really very dangerous, you naughty, silly boys. So I think that it was a bit irresponsible, quite frankly. And just remind me, Simon, is the Robin Reliant the one with the one wheel at the front?
Yes, I think
yes,
so,
that's the one, isn't it? Very silly boys. Not the most robust of cars, and it could have been dangerous, so you are not forgiven.
Now, Sister Pauline.
I love the fact that they actually thought to themselves, what would happen if that wasn't there? And just thought, let's take it away, without making the obvious next conclusion.
What, there's a river there?
There's a river there. No, absolutely not forgiven.